Hi YouTube, my name is Christopher Lachey of CW Lachey Law. I'm an attorney here in North Carolina, and what you're about to watch is a presentation done at Town Hall on Second Amendment rights in North Carolina, as well as certain federal laws. Terry Stop and Frisk. So Terry Stop and Frisk, or Terry Stop, Terry Frisk, is based out of Ohio law, and it went to the Supreme Court. So in a Terry Stop, Terry Frisk, an officer will approach an individual and he will begin questioning this individual. He will do a pat down of the person, their outside clothes, and what the officer is doing is feeling for weapons. This was a bad PR move in New York because even though a lot of weapons were recovered from repeat offenders, it was being used to target minorities. You don't have any requirement, if an officer approaches you, to engage that officer in conversation. You can ask him, am I being detained? No, you're not being detained. Bye. Walk away. You don't have to talk to him. It's not required. If you have a pistol on you, if you got your CCW, and an officer walks up to you and says, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Nope. I don't want to talk to you. If he says, get back here, you're being detained, okay, you have to stop. You don't have to tell him that you have a firearm on you. That's not required. Now, when he finds it on you, he's going to ask for your CCW. He's going to say, why were you concealing a firearm? Well, here's my CCW. That's the extent of that conversation. That's as far as it has to go. The less you say to law enforcement in that situation, the better, because everything that you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So how does an officer determine whether they're going to stop somebody? So an officer may briefly detain a person they reasonably suspect is involved in criminal activity. So an officer has to first get a call or an alert or something. White male, early 30s, 6.5 feet tall, hanging out in the park. And you happen to fit that description. The officer has the reasonable suspicion to briefly detain you. But that gets challenged in court all the time. The officer is going to be asked, what did you hear that made you think you needed to stop this person? Okay, I talked about it at the station. We got reports that there was someone hanging out in parks. Okay. The Terry stop involves a limited search of the suspect's outer garments for weapons if they have a reasonable and articulable suspicion that the person may be armed and dangerous. That's the second part and where this usually fails. An officer has to do a cursory check of the outside clothing. So if I've got something in my pocket that definitely doesn't feel like a weapon, the officer has to move on. It could be a baggie of cocaine. If the officer squeezes the baggie and says, oh, that's cocaine, he has violated your Fourth Amendment rights, and you can get that thrown out. You'll need a good attorney, but it can be thrown out. It's happened before. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, like and subscribe. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. You can also get my contact information in the description below. My firm is also on Facebook. There are many more video talks to come in the future, so stay tuned.